All right, what's going on, guys? Who are you?
I'm Nathan.
Okay, Nathan.
I've been talking to the deputy on the phone.
Okay.
That there's Max Milky. He's trespassing. He's been
Okay.
told to leave. His
Okay.
father has been, there's an anti-harassment restraining order
Okay, between
Robert Milky and the Milky Brothers Incorporated Farm. This is my father, Doug Milky.
Okay.
Hi. He's a manager of the farm. I'm an employee of Milky Brothers Inc.
Right.
His family has been formally told that this is a no contact order area, that they're not to be on Milky Brothers Inc. shop property.
Okay.
They're harassing us. The gentleman there, we were selling a vehicle to him, legally transferred title and everything.
Okay. So
Anyway,
now,
this little kid.
does he have a protection order against him? If I go run his driver's license,
No.
is it going to come back with a protection order?
I don't believe it will.
Okay.
No, his father is prohibited against coming down at this property.
Okay. Does his dad have a no contact order that I would
Robert
find on
Yes.
file?
does.
Okay.
Yes.
Robert Milky's not supposed to be down at this.
Well, and he's
site.
sending his kid down here, so this report needs to be brought up so I can file my own anti-harassment orders against this kid.
Okay.
You know,
How old is he?
22.
Okay.
About 23.
So what's, as far as what is he doing tonight that's
Nothing
so
other than
offensive, I guess?
We were down here waiting for this gentleman here that was going to come and get the car. We were waiting here, and Max Milky drove up here, and he said he could be around this. I said, you really don't need to be here, and he says, I can be here if I want.
Okay.
And I said, well, under the circumstances, I don't think it's the best thing to be here.
Okay.
And so we went and loaded. Within a couple of minutes' time, that's when the gentleman came to pick that car up.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out, loaded it up, and Max Milky's just been driving around here and waiting for whatever reason since.
Okay.
So I don't know if he asked me what I was doing over here, and I says, well, we work at this shop. And I said, in addition, I came in here to get we're going to load a car up. And he asked which car it was, and I identified the car that we were going to load up. And we loaded.
And meanwhile, he's been sitting around here for 25 minutes, spying, watching on us.
Okay.
He has no business
There's
being
no
here.
reason down here. Just
Well, I know there's no reason, but
The thing,
there's not an order in place.
But it's
I
just-
mean, if he wants to,
Go-
if I wanted to sit and watch you guys from the
No,
road
but
or
he
whatever,
can do it from the road.
he
but
can do
what
it from the
about-
road. He can't be on the damn
There's-
property.
there's
why
no
not?
reason
There's
for
no
him- there's
there's not
reason-
a no contact
there's-
order against him, right?
Correct, but there's no reason for him to be down here around
Okay.
these buildings. So that's all. I'm
But it's
saying.
still technically used to be. I know you guys have gone through a whole bunch of legal stuff. It technically used to be a family thing. He's
Used
not
to be.
technically.
Past
okay,
tense.
hold on.
Okay.
Past tense.
Don't run over me. You guys called me. I'm trying to figure out how to help you. Okay,
All right.
but I've got to get some stuff squared away before I can do that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure that I'm on the same page as
All right.
everybody else because you guys know more than I do, right?
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so used to be a family operation. Robert is no longer allowed here. There is a no contact order in place against him, correct?
Correct.
Okay, there's nothing for. Is this Mike?
Max.
Max, excuse me.
Maxwell.
Mike's. Okay, Maxwell.
Maxwell
There's nothing
Milky.
against Maxwell right now, correct?
No.
Okay.
Correct.
When he's been down there, he's just been driving around, just kind of being a pill. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not.
Yeah,
He's
that's-
not yelling at this guy, not yelling
No,
at y'all.
He's just
He's snooping.
Just being a pill.
snooping, just
Okay.
a pill.
Not just a pill. This is suspicious activity. Prowling. You know, you can write that up. That's an RCW. Look at prowling.
We don't know what he's doing down here, but he has
Okay.
no reason to be down here. Just
Okay.
at
And when
night-
we've asked him to leave, he has not left. That is trespassing. That is prowling.
Well, just to be down here at night at dark and when there's nobody down here, it's just this isn't daylight hours.
So now, how did you, once you guys went about the stuff with, just so everybody knows, audio and video recording, I don't know if I mentioned that earlier.
figured.
So when you guys got Robert trespassed, how did you guys do that? Was that done through you guys as attorneys?
That was done through myself. I filed an anti-harassment order, an
Okay.
order for no contact or anti-harassment order, however the thing is called.
Okay.
Because Robert Milky is harassing me at my work site.
Okay.
This here is part of my work site. Milky
Okay.
Brothers Incorporated. This is part of our
Got that.
farm
shop area.
Okay.
There's a farm shop over closer 4 miles to the south, which is where my own residence is at.
Gotcha.
Robert Milky in the past had been coming around at all
Well,
hours of the
similar
day.
to what-
Similar to what little Max is doing right now, poking in buildings. I had him on a video, on a cell phone video of him poking around in buildings that he wasn't supposed to be in.
Okay.
Similar to what Max is doing right now.
Right.
We've got trail cams set up right now. There's a trail cam that is pointed, that is sitting at the front of the house right now, that if you wanted to look at the SD card, it's in there. It'd show Max and all these guys coming in at unauthorized vehicles, unauthorized access to this property.
Okay. So what you're going to have to do, because he hasn't actually committed a crime yet, I would recommend going through and doing the same thing that you did with Robert to get him trespassed.
I'm going to. And the thing is, if you tell somebody to leave and they don't leave, what is that?
Well, here's the issue with that. Now, if I, off duty or something, came down here and was doing this, you don't know who I am from David, right? You tell me to leave and I say no, trespassing, you're correct. However, he's been working here before all this stuff blew up with Robert.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. He's dead to me.
Okay,
He's dead to me.
Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
Okay.
You're just being silly now.
He was working here before. Okay, go ahead.
So, in the past, he has been here. He has been working here. Whatever, was an active member of the LLC in some capacity.
He was
right?
an employee.
Okay, an employee. There you go.
That was all he was.
He's still a family member also. I know he's dead to you and all that, but that's
okay. All right. So,
that's past, okay?
All right.
So you cannot just tell him you're not allowed here if he has been allowed here. It's kind of like if you and I live together and then you're like, I want you out of here. I was like, well, I live here.
If it's your
It's the same
fucking
kind of
house,
thing.
if it's your fucking house, you can tell him to get out all you want. He could be your best buddy. You can tell your best buddy to get the fuck out of your house.
If he's established a residence and a relationship, you cannot kick him out in the street immediately. You have to go through an eviction process.
This is not a residence. This is not his residence.
Okay, you're not
I
really
understand.
I understand very technically. What I would like you to do is walk over there, draw your firearm, and tell him to leave.
No, we don't need to do that. But
I'm not going to do that. I can't legally do that.
No,
That's
I
what I'm
know
trying
that.
to explain to
Will
you.
you walk over there and ask him to
well,
leave?
we just
No.
Because
Listen.
it has been communicated to him that he is to leave the premise.
I just said it wouldn't
Okay.
be.
He is not an owner.
Here's the deal. I'm trying to explain to you. You need to go and do the same thing that you did with Robert to get him legally trespassed from here so that there's no contact order. That's the only way you can do this.
Okay. All right. We
Okay?
understand that.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. We appreciate that. Him hanging around here as we're loading this thing up.
Oh, it's a pain in the butt.
And
But
refusing to leave.
Can you call my house phone and leave a message with the case number that this is related to?
I'll go get you the case number right now. How about
that works.
Okay.
That works. Thank you.
Okay, you got something to write it down here?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, 18 L as in Lincoln.
18
L 000 4149.
4149.
Yep.
Okay.
So I will go over and talk to him. I'll ask him to leave, but like I said, I can't force him to
I
leave.
understand. It's just very unusual at this time of night to be poking around down.
Well, you know why they're doing it, right? They're doing it to be a pain. Okay? But being a pain isn't a crime, and this thing on my shoulder says I can only deal with criminal stuff. I can't deal with civil stuff.
I understand.
And unfortunately, we're in the civil realm on this,
I
just like all the stuff, for the most part, has been with Robert.
Yeah.
Same situation. So,
It's only because nobody wants to prosecute him.
for what?
For I don't know the latest one, and it's not a civil matter. There's theft that's ongoing.
Okay.
Hi, Jeff Barkdale. Maybe you should turn this one in.
Nathan, all right, stop.
I'm sick.
enough.
I'm
Okay.
sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of this shit. That I'm going to. Would you like to witness domestic violence? First degree
Nathan,
assault?
stop. Nathan, stop.
Unwanted
Stop,
touching.
stop.
Oh, you just touched me. That's
Okay.
4th degree. Should I file a police report? We could have the next one. 0041-50.
Okay, Nathan, stop.
That was unwanted
Here's the
touching.
deal, Nathan.
Do you see how stupid this is?
Okay.
Meanwhile,
listen.
that kid
I
needs to
don't
leave.
know any of those other cases. I know a brief overview of sort of what's going on with this family. It's been an ongoing thing since before I worked here, and I've been working here a while.
I know.
Okay. I've talked to Doug, I think, on the phone once or twice. I think I've talked to Robert once or twice. I've talked to a few of you guys a few times. Okay.
Yeah.
So the deal is, like I said, this is criminal, and I can unfortunately only deal with criminal.
I get it.
Okay. I can't help you guys with the civil. I wish I could, but I can't.
At some point in time, trespassing.
Right, and like I said, once you get your order in place, you have against Robert,
I would submit it to the prosecutor after you filled out your report, because that's what you do. Submit it with Maxwell, criminals trespassing 2nd degree. You guys charged me. You guys recommended criminal trespassing 2nd degree while I'm up there thing. You know, they actually filed paperwork. Law enforcement prosecutors got a hold of me. I was charged. I had to stand before a judge.
And
say
I don't
not
know
guilty.
what all the
but understand,
lead up stuff to that was.
The same as this right here. This as a criminal trespassing 2nd degree. Look up the RCW on it. That's what this is.
I'm very well aware of what the RCW is.
Then file an RCW trespassing.
That's not where we are. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
except so you'll file charges against me for criminal trespassing.
I wasn't involved in that case. I don't know anything about that, Nathan. That's the deal, man. You get so worked up about some of this stuff that you just have a hard time paying
I'm worked
attention.
up because I'm tired of getting fucked in the ass
Okay.
by the entire system, by the entire Lincoln County corrupt machine.
Well, I'm going to say maybe go home.
Go talk to him.
Let's go home.
All right.
I think we're just making it worse.
what's your deputy?
My name is Deputy Barker.
Thank you,
I
Barker.
appreciate you being a little more level-headed than your boy. I understand where he's coming from, but
All right. Well,
I'm gonna wait here until Max leaves.
If you don't mind, we'll just kind of. I'll back up and wait away.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
2-3 Magnuson.
23 good.
Can you attach David, Nathan, and Maxwell to this call?
Will do.
2-3. Where are you going? I'm not going to walk up and talk to you. Hey, Max. What's going on,
How's it
man?
going?
Just so you know, Deputy Barker, you gotta be on audio and video recorded, okay? What's up today? What are we doing?
Myself,
Yeah.
I'm just driving around and I saw there's a activity going on. I'm a lineal descendant of Carl Milkey.
Okay.
Carl's my grandfather.
Got it.
So just seeing what's going on. My family's got stuff down here.
Mhm.
I want to make sure nobody's just hauling anything away. So
Okay.
that's what
Did
I'm
you
doing.
see them loading up anything that was
I'm not
yours,
sure.
I guess? Okay.
I'm not sure. I didn't.
How long have
I've
you been
stayed
driving
a-
around
I've
down
stayed
here?
a while. How long have I been driving around for?
Yeah.
I'm not. Maybe.
Like
I wasn't driving around. the
5
whole
minutes,
time.
30 minutes? How long have you been on property, I
On
guess? Let's say
property,
that.
Probably for over a half hour for sure.
Okay. So, what is I guess you said you were wanting to make sure they're not doing what?
Yeah, just make sure nothing's getting stolen or anybody. I'm just curious what's going on. I've worked here
Okay.
for very
Right.
many years, and
Your dad
I
is?
just enjoy it. My dad's Robert.
Robert, okay. And Robert's
Robert would
trespassed from the property, correct?
be. What's that?
Robert is trespassed from this property.
Trespass from the.
He's
property.
not allowed to come here.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the particulars on all that. So,
Okay.
But no,
Did you talk to your dad?
Do I talk to my dad? Yeah.
You know that they've been going through, well, you've been involved in it for years,
Mm-hmm.
all the BS that's going on with everything.
I know you got some snakes over there for sure.
Okay, well,
Got some bad.
I'm not going to say that it's over there and not on your side
Right.
because I don't know, okay? So I got a call that you're driving around down here. They don't want you driving around down here, okay? It's going to be kind of the same thing that what went on with Dad, with Robert, okay? I understand you're down here checking on
And
you guys' property.
I'm just enjoying the place too because
Okay.
I love
Well,
it here. This
here's
is
the
my,
deal.
home.
I understand that, but here's the deal. You coming down, and to them, they're perceiving it as being spied on. Can you see where they're coming from, at all on that?
No, I think if you want to hear what happened, you probably actually saw there's lights right in my window right here. Did you see that when you pulled up? See there's a body in front of my vehicle? You saw that? Yeah. So I was trying to back up, and actually I was being chased around. So Nathan with a flashlight was chasing me around, getting exercise or whatever. And you saw him right here. I'm trying to back up. Well, I didn't want to hit anything.
Right.
So eventually you have to stop, and then I think he saw you. So then, thank goodness you came, because, well, I don't know.
But I guess what I'm
I would say
asking
he's
is,
harassing me,
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, can you understand where they're trying to do some sort of business, selling
dark?
whatever, in the dark, whatever. Dude, I worked on a ranch too. It ain't even late yet. I mean, it's 6.
I grew up working.
Right?
I'd
How
be
late
15
you normally
actually.
work? How late you normally work? Good solid day of work.
If you're talking on the ranch here, we could work past midnight. We could work
Yeah.
as late as
Right?
whatever.
But it's 6. I mean, that ain't late. That ain't even dinner time yet.
Yeah, for these guys, that's late.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, it's
I
not
know
necessarily
them a little better than you
suspicious.
do.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not necessarily suspicious that they're out doing something at night. This fella, I don't know where he came from. He might have got off work, and he probably didn't get off work till 3, 4. I don't know. So now he's out here to meet him and pick up something. You see where I'm coming from? The possibilities on that.
I see what you're saying, but
So
I don't see what's wrong with me. I was sitting in the pickup. I wasn't just driving around. I'm not
Okay.
just-
Well, they've got game cams and that stuff up, and they're probably going to end up sending all that stuff to me anyhow. So I'll see if you're driving or sitting
You-
or
you
whatever.
can
So
look-
it's not
you
a
can
not a
look-
big deal.
I'll
To be
tell you-
honest, I could care less one way or the other. The issue is that they're trying to do some sort of business, whether it's fraudulent or not. Okay, you're out. They perceive it as spying on them. Okay, were you doing the same thing, and your roles were reversed? You would probably look at it similar. I can see where they're coming from. Are they over-exaggerating, worrying about it too much? I think so. Are you over-exaggerating, worrying about the stuff they're selling? I think so also. Because you guys have got all this civil stuff going on with who owns what and who's allowed to have and who is allowed to be and all this stuff, okay? And I get it. But if they sell a car or something that ends up being in you or your dad or whoever's property dispute thing, you guys get to go after them civilly. That's the law. That's what you guys have already been doing for years and years and years, since before I worked here, and I've been here a while. Okay? You see where I'm coming from a little bit?
Oh, I hear you. I'm listening to you.
Okay.
I'm paying
So I think that's kind of where we are right now. They think you're spying on them. You sort of are, but you're trying to do it for a good reason. But I guess what I'm saying is there's not a great reason to be out here doing that. All you're doing is getting them stirred up. You know Nathan.
Well-
You know how he acts. You got to look at him wrong, and he's going to spin out and hit the moon. Right? Am I pretty much spot on with Nathan?
If you're saying Nathan's a very scary, crazy man and very dangerous, I agree he is.
I'm
And
saying
I've had a
that's not
restraining
what I'm
order on
saying.
him.
Right. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you know that if Nathan's out doing something and he thinks that you're spying on him and you look at him wrong, he's going to just spin out. Right?
No, I'm protective over Nathan. I protect myself. I had the doors locked.
No, I know. I'm not
windows
saying
down.
that.
I kept
I'm not
the
saying
pickup
that.
running, everything like that.
I'm
and
not
that's
saying
why
that.
I removed myself. He was chasing after me, like
Okay.
I said.
Like I said, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you know that if Nathan's doing something and he thinks that you are, quote unquote, by him spying on him or whatever term he wants to use, he's going to get freaked out and be weird Nathan, right? Am I correct on that? Knowing Nathan?
Knowing
I do?
Nathan, is he going to freak out? I think Nathan is unpredictable.
Okay.
He can freak out on anything. and-
That's where I'm getting at, okay? It doesn't take much provocation to get him spun out. Or anything that he perceives as provocation, correct?
I think you're right. He doesn't take much, like you said, to
Yeah.
get him spun out.
So I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at tonight is just you being out here is going to spin him out.
So how come I enjoy driving around, whether it's at night, whether in the middle of the day, I drive around day as well. Whether anything, let's say Nathan's not even here or anything like that.
Mhm.
What's wrong with me driving around?
As far as I know, you're not trespassed or anything from
Nothing.
Milky Brothers property, right?
Yeah.
So there isn't anything wrong.
Okay.
But as soon as you're driving around and he takes some sort of a threat to that, I get a call. To be honest, it's civil. And I told him that. It's civil. If he wants to get a restraining order against you or whatever, then he's got to go through the courts and do it the same way he did it against your dad. Okay? That's what I told him. It's civil. This thing on my shoulder says I only get to deal with criminal stuff, not civil. So there's nothing I can do. He wanted me to arrest you and tell you to leave. I told him I can't legally do that. But if he wants to go get some sort of restraining order from his place of work, which apparently is here, and the judge wants to sign it, then he can go about it that way. But there's nothing I can do as far as law enforcement with you today, except let you know that you already knew it. It doesn't take much to spin Nathan out, and you did something that you may have not even intended to spin him out, but it did. That's all I'm doing is telling you that you got Nathan spun up because Nathan spins up.
I think you're putting a blame on you got saying you directed at Max Milky here, right? I got him spun up. I don't think that's the case. What I mean by that is Nathan gets spun up when I'm not involved.
Right.
Whether anybody's involved, he gets spun up if he's in a room by himself.
Yes.
So
that's what I'm not directing it at you. I'm saying you as the person here right now. It could be another person, like you just said. It doesn't take much for Nathan to get spun up, and that's what happened tonight. It just happens to be you're the guy who was here, and so you got him spun up tonight. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I'm not saying you're the only one that spins him up.
And
I'm sure if I showed
next
up,
week you might get
spun
him spun up. Who knows? So
right,
you're kind
exactly.
of listening to common denominator there.
I understand that, but that's not what I'm saying tonight. I'm talking about right here, right now. You, Max Milky, are the one who spun him up. Now, is he justified in being spun up? I don't think so, but he is, because that's how Nathan works.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
So that's all I'm getting at tonight is you got him all wigged out. Not saying it's your fault, just saying it's Nathan, and that's what Nathan does. Fair enough?
No, I hear you.
So, for tonight, just so we don't get any more calls, I would appreciate it if you left, but I can't tell you to leave.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yep. And,
Perfect.
I can look. You can probably back up right there, or on this.
I'll just pull
forward.
right by you, then you can zing
Okay.
around. I got backup cameras and all kinds of crap on the car, so.
All right. Well, hey,
All right.
thank you, officer.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Max. Thank you for understanding. Magnuson.
Okay, go ahead.
I will be clear the scene. Max will be clearing as well. 2-3. I'll be back out with Nathan and Doug for a moment. Okay, so I asked him to leave. I explained myself and kind of where we were on it.
Yeah.
I explained to them that you've known your son for a while, and he seems to generate a lot of these calls. I'm not saying I'm not putting all the blame on him, just that he seems to be involved in a lot of them. So I explained to him, I said, listen, you're driving around. He perceives that you were spying on him. Whether you were or you weren't doesn't matter. It's his perception. I said, you got him spun up. I think you meant to do it, but I can't prove it. It's not a criminal act, but he may be filing paperwork against you to have you trespass from this property because of your actions tonight.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
You mean as far as what
How I explained it to him.
to Max?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Robert. I think what happened was we were waiting here. I had the headlights on, pointing there, and I think somebody one of the family members drove by in a Jeep Wrangler type of vehicle, and then within 10 minutes or so, that's when Max came down the road, appeared in the red Ford,
Right.
and then he drove down in here, and I thought, well, it was this guy we were waiting for to come out to pick the pickup. So I asked him what's going on, or I drove. Well, at first he didn't even stop. He just slowed down there and drove around the buildings, and I didn't even have any idea what was going on. So I thought, well, I didn't even recognize the vehicle. I had an idea that belonged up at Robert's house, but I wasn't positive. But anyway, after he looped around down the yard then, and that's when I went up to him and I says, I said, what's going on? He says, well, what's going on here? And I says, well, we're waiting for somebody here. And and that's when it started in. But he obviously is just poking around.
Yeah, and I explained to him, I was like, I said, you can say whatever you want. I said, but here's the deal. It's dark, but it's only 6.
I know it's dark.
That ain't even dinner time yet.
Right. But
I said, so if they're still out working, whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I was like, no wells. Use logic here. It's 6. They're still working. I said, I lived on a ranch until I became a cop. How late do you normally work? And he says, well, you can stay out past midnight. Right. What I'm getting at. They're out working.
Yeah, well, he had no reason to come down here.
No, he didn't. But like I said, we're not in a criminal act yet, which is why Nathan needs to make sure he gets that paperwork done. Just like with Robert, because that way, then he does show up after the paperwork's been served, and we can actually help him.
Max, I think, lives in the Kennewick area, Tri-City area. I think is what he does.
Tries to overseeing family or something.
Yeah, he's staying visiting over the holidays, but yeah, for him just to poke down here, that's just.
Like I explained to him, I said, here's the deal. What I think happened is you're just driving around and kind of poking. May not have meant anything by it. You may have. I don't know. I can't prove it, but. Regardless whether you meant it or not, you got Nathan spun up. Yeah. And did you expect anything different?
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
Even if you didn't mean to do it, you know that showing up here is going to get him spun up.
Well, he knows anybody down here is going to get upset.
Right. So, yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
But yeah, so I asked him to leave. I said, I can't force you to, but I'm going to ask. Yeah, and he said, fine.
He has no legal ownership here. His father's a shareholder, not a shareholder of a corporation. It's not like I'm a 25%. I can own a piece of real estate out here. He's a 4% shareholder.
Right. And so he just gets essentially a dividend.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous for him to say I'm a part owner. I can be around here if I want. That's Robert's mentality always. I'm a part owner. I can be there whether I like or not.
Right.
But realistically, as a shareholder, you have the ability to inspect a property, but with somebody, you just can't demand you're going to walk on the property at any particular time and inspect it.
If I'm a shareholder with Microsoft, I can't just walk into Bill Gates' office
and say, "Here I am. I'm a shareholder. Right. Let me. I'm just going to sit here all day long and watch you, Bill."
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same idea.
Yeah, you're going to get escorted out.
Yeah, so. Exactly.
But yeah, and I mean I can kind of see where the kid's coming from, but it's partially because of his ignorance of the situation, unfortunately.
So what's the kid down here just poking around, you mean?
He said he just likes to drive around the property, and he grew up here, and so he likes to be here. And I said, well, be that as it may.
But there's no reason to come down at dark.
I know. You and I know that.
That's just crap.
You and I know that.
And he
knows it too.
And he only came down because the other car had driven by and probably saw headlights and said, go down there and check it out.
On him. And I explained to him, I was like, hey, if they're out here selling something and there's some sort of a dispute about whether it's yours or not, I said, I don't know what else is everybody's down here, and I don't know that anybody else necessarily does also. But I said, if they sell something that belongs to you, then go after them civilly. That's how it works.
It's a farm-owned vehicle.
Yeah. No, I know
had
that.
A title on it. We signed the title over today and bill of sale, and we sold it to the guy who lives in the Pasco area. And so, I mean, it's a legit transaction.
Like I said, you and I know that. He's just trying to be a pain, and he's trying to give me a rationale why he's here.
That's crap.
And like I told him, it's a civil issue. If you guys sell, I said, even if they sold some of your stuff that said Max Milky on it, then it's a civil issue, unfortunately, because of like I was trying to explain to Nathan, because of the relationship that prior existed pre anything of any of this other stuff.
All right. Okay. So, well, thank you for coming out. I appreciate your help. I mean,
not a problem.
Clarified it a little bit because I don't know. He would have. I don't know what his purpose of sticking around here was, seeing what we were going to do.
He's just being a pain.
Seeing if I was telling a story or not. But I told a straight story, and I told him what car we were going to be loading up, and he could see that he can recognize the cars that drove away. What a car it was. So.
So that's all it was. And I mean, if you can try to keep, I think, to be honest, I think he was going to leave after that car, after talking to him, but Nathan was kind of up in his grill, so.
Yeah, well.
I mean, and I understand why Nathan did it, but sometimes, I guess the whole more bees with honey sort of deal, sometimes not instigating gets them out of your hair quicker, I guess.
Correct, but it's just...
It's a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass because Robert came down here this fall a couple times, and as we're working around here, he comes around and drives around and just loops around, just observing, just real similar to this was.
Right.
And so Nathan called up and then I talked to, I think it was Kelly Watkins that time. I eventually got on the phone, and I explained, I says, Robert's, Nathan called me and told me what's going on over here. And I said, Robert's just driving around like a wild man around here. And I saw the videos of what went on, and Robert had no reason to be down here. Well, that basically set up the scenario to where Robert had a protection order filed against him, and it stuck. They prohibited him from coming around here.
And that's exactly what we need to do here, to be honest. And really, anytime, what I would say, I don't know how many other kids or any of the other family members or anything that you guys would prefer not be here. If this happens again and they show up, don't talk to them, just identify who they are and submit the same paperwork. And eventually you'll get them all weeded out.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Well, appreciate your advice.
Yep. Awesome.
Have a good night.
Yep. Thank you, Doug. You too. Tooth or magneson will be clear.
23 clear,